tonight,
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
I kind of like the wind. We're broadcasting from the beach, so yeah. I dare you to do it on pool floats. You knock over the canoe, bad things happen.
Where's that rumble come from?
That's Chaille.
That's me. There we go. Something was up with that other cable.
See, I told you it was a rumble.
I told you it was a cable. Rumble in the cable. Well, it's all right by me. That's right, Brian Hennigan from Jethro Tull.
Stephen.
What's that?
I have no idea.
Cable guy.
All right.
Oh.
Stephen.
No, I hated that guy back then.
I liked that. Cable guy. I loved that.
I watched it, but I hated Jim Carrey so much back then.
Oh, I liked him.
Back when you used to hate folks.
Just to hate.
It just hated.
You had a reason.
I just thought it was stupid.
So is your microphone being toasted, or is it a different color on one side?
This is an Amazon purchase.
Uh-huh.
And I believe it sat
Both of our microphones have, one
I think they
one
sat
part
in
sat in the sun.
Sat in the window of a showcase, and someone said, "Get rid of those windscreens. Clean them all out. Put them on Amazon or something." All right. I think everything sound nice.
Yeah, it sounds as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm trying to blow it out because every now and then I hear myself where I'm like, hey, I'm the guy I hate on podcasts. I'm not talking loud.
Can we just turn down his...
That's you. Do you want to turn it
No,
down
I'm
a
two.
little bit?
I'm two.
Oh, you're two.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're the sound guy.
Well, I can't hear what you're hearing.
I want to know what I'm saying.
Okay. How's that
Yeah,
sound?
no, that's good. I don't know what that's... And it's the end of the tour. We should have just called it the whole thing Shittown Tour. Somehow I felt some obligation to New England to not include them in the Shittown Tour, even though, they're as shitty as any of the other places we played for the most part. Burlington, Vermont was fantastic. Huge thank you to everyone in Burlington. Really nice time. For the most part, every place else was shit.
In the build-up, when we were booking the tour, you said you wanted to introduce Junior to the judgmental and unwelcoming audiences of New England.
Check and check. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, Junior doesn't usually have any problems. He was well received, heckled more than most tours, but now I can barely hear you.
I'll turn this up.
I don't know if you're dropping off.
Okay, I'll give it 100%.
We're here with, as always, Greg Chaille. The podcast never goes smoothly without him. And Brian Hennigan.
Hello.
Now, here's the... I've started referring to you, Brian, as my business partner. Because people get confused on stage when I go, hey, my tour manager, Greg Chaille, who's wearing the similar weird suit and selling merch and doing every goddamn thing on the road.
And they expect him to be uncut.
But that's another thing. He mentions me in the beginning, and then later on he says, my manager, the
filthy uncut Scotsman.
And everyone looks in the back of the room at me standing at the merch booth going, oh, that's the uncut guy, huh?
That's the filth. And he's not even a Scotsman. So rather than confuse people, and it is accurate that you are my business partner, because unlike... I don't know if we've ever discussed this, but unlike other managers in Hollywood, belly suckers, barnacles,
bottom feeders.
Yes, Brian works for me and me alone. And if that were the typical situation, oh Jesus, would agents and managers have to fucking pedal?
Yes, but you'd also have to say that if I'm your business partner, I work with you as opposed to for you.
Right. So did I not say that?
You said for.
Well, no, that's what he's getting at. Is he explains it on stage.
My point is, when I have to refer to two different managers, then I find myself drunk and trying to break down the entire scheme of how industry works in the entertainment, and then I forget the joke.
Yeah. I can see how audiences get lost in that.
So, you're my business partner, which you are.
Yes.
So he trimmed
I just get
down.
a bigger cut. Let's put that down. You might have the huge uncut dick,
That's right.
But I get the bigger percentage of the money. And a lot of people would flip a coin on what they'd prefer.
Yeah.
Some people would prefer the giant, ugly, uncut Scottish cock.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
You were saying about Junior and his reception in New England.
Yeah, I was saying that, but let's set up that we're sitting here in small pants on the beach in St. Petersburg after leaving the worst of the gigs in Binghamton. Wasn't a bad crowd by any means. It was just at the end of the most depressing tour of all time due to how it started, and we'll get to that on the next podcast or the one after that when we're home. But we flew out of Syracuse after playing Binghamton, New York, in the most shitty, awful 51 degrees and driving rain and depression and brick. New England is every reason that I hate the UK.
Well,
it's where I grew up.
Sure, but a matter of fact, you once talked about doing the touring New England was the ideal preparation for going to the UK.
Right, because I'm already that depressed and going, this is why I left here as soon as I was able to.
But you had some sort of, rose-tinted spectacles about, hey, New England, it's still like where you're from.
And it was really nice, the first, except for the overriding problem at home, but it's October, so it's foliage, it's fucking gorgeous. So yeah, for the first week it was nice weather, it was pretty and yellow leaves, but the gigs were...
They can't take that color away from us. We still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely... That's why we booked it in October.
And you did get to see your brother.
Got to see my brother. My brother's wife did not come out. I think we covered that in the last podcast.
Podcast number 12.
Yes, she's a wonderful person, but still has some issues with my act and things I say, and etc. It was a fine time, and it was a great to leave from that shitty, awful. It turned winter real quick, and now we flew down. We took 2 days before we went home to come down to one of my favorite places. In my top 5 day drinking places of all time is Treasure Island, which is a part of St. Pete in Florida, and it's all old school, like 1960s neon sign.
Motor hotel.
Yeah. It looks like the shit your grandpa, I say to my listening audience, my dad would take you to. The kind of place you'd pull up in a Chrysler Newport, and the valet would bring you in for a porterhouse, 18-ounce porterhouse, and you'd get a Shirley Temple. Well, I outgrew the Shirley Temple.
I have spoken to some people on Skype, telling them like where I am, and you feel very self-conscious and a sort of like, where are you? And you go, Treasure Island. It just sounds like I should be saying I'm in Treasure Island
like
to anyone.
You're camped out at Disney World.
I know.
It's on Sawyer Island. Where are you?
You were talking about something in West Hollywood that you go, I don't even tell people about it because it's the best kept secret.
Correct.
I have that benefit of all this shit I liked, all this dumb kind of retro places that are still kept up will never get popular. I could promote this if I was, whoever, Evander Holyfield shaking hands at the front door of this motherfucker. No one's coming, and it's beautiful.
That's true.
They'll have some dunce cap over there at 5 o'clock at the Tiki Bar, Iki Woo Woo's Tiki Bar on the beach. He'll be playing Jimmy Buffett songs. We have a bet on if we can get out of here in 36 hours without hearing son of a sailor. So
no way. By the way, it was very interesting last night, Halloween night, sunset, that trap door that shuts the front of Icky Woo Woo's little tiki bar there blocked us out of the second round of Mai Tais. It was Halloween night.
Yeah.
And it was about 8 o'clock.
Not a soul.
Yeah.
I'm sure the other bars, there's like 9 bars in walking
distance. We went for breakfast this morning. They had no beer or champagne. And
it's Friday morning. Mimosas on the beach. I've only been working here 2 days, but they haven't had champagne or beer.
To be fair, you did ask for a Sam Adams.
Okay, I should exalt
It's
it.
not like they ran out of beer. Like there's no keg beer or anything.
Yeah.
You're just high monkey there with a Sam
Oh,
Adams
I'm
in a
sorry.
bottle.
Well, if we can't exaggerate a little bit and say they were out of beer.
Good grief.
If we drop their name, then yeah, we'd have to say,
Yeah.
well, they weren't, but they don't know.
I think that guy did quit before the food arrived though. They switched out our
You've
server.
not actually. Have you,
We got to tell a story about the last time we were here
The
before I forget.
That's the whole
Are you
reason.
are you allowed to name check the Thunderbird Resort?
Oh, the Thunderbird is fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Chaille used to live in Tampa, so somehow
10
you
years
knew
ago.
this place. And we finished some tour down here and came here for a day or two.
No, it was in 2005 when you did the improv, which was the last time you were going to do the improv because we moved over to rock and roll venues after that. We were down here with Brendan Walsh.
It's really been 8 years since
Yeah.
that happened?
Yeah.
Good, because that gives Brendan Walsh an out on this story.
Oh,
Because he used to cause a lot more hijinks than he does now, and now he's more stable.
He's part of the firmament.
Right. Walsh had his days.
he's still got his days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know he'll hate this story.
That's
Because
okay.
he's one of those guys that regrets drunken stories immediately the next morning and then has another one that night. Like, this was the most embarrassing. It's not even funny.
Well, we had done Orlando improv, and then I believe the Tampa improv, and then I think we had 2 days. Separate.
Whatever it was.
Well,
we
I'm just
wound
setting it up.
here.
We were on a run together, and then we did a really shitty bar. No,
We did a last call, like barnstorming. Hey,
That's what
fuck
it
it.
was.
We can do St. Pete. We just did Tampa, so we're not competing. Let's see what it was. MySpace days.
No.
So
I got to back up a little bit. Okay, we had done the improv in 2005. In 2007, I believe that's when we did this because we did the brewery,
yeah, no, I know.
New
it wasn't
World
8 years.
Brewery,
Yes.
and then we did that bar in Clearwater where Daryl Lennox showed up, and you were playing in like
It's
banquet area.
too weird
It
to
was-
try to explain this. It was MySpace days,
Yes.
and we thought, hey, we can do a 24-hour advance notice and sell whatever goddamn bar, and whatever goddamn bar was not set up for comedy.
No.
It was set up for, slouching VFW hall day drunks. So it's a long, narrow bar that has a stage at the end, but everyone's looking down a corridor basically to see you.
When he
And-
says stage, think of this: an area.
It's more like
with-
it's more like a bowling alley.
No, it's
It was
at
very
the-
much like
at
we
the-
were the pins.
At the end of the bar was truly an area that was a stage, but that wasn't because it was elevated. It was because it was circled in wrought iron about waist high. That was the stage area.
So that could have been a cockfighting pit.
Absolutely.
And that's where you would probably tonight hear Jimmy Buffett covers of Son of a
Absolutely.
Sailor. So we do that show.
Veggie
We have the
burger.
night. We stay here. Yeah, no,
We were going back and forth.
either way, let's cut to the end of a day off just like today, and hopefully this day ends better. We stayed the night here, woke up, it was Sunday, we're day drinking, watching football at Iki Woo Woo's Tiki Bar on the beach, part of the hotel by the pool. Couldn't really see the TV because of the sun. Shit-faced. At some point towards sundown, day drinking all day, nothing to lose. I have a jock strap on because of my long ball situation, and I'm out here on the boardwalk here. It's the hotel, a boardwalk, not a cement,
Public access
Yeah.
along the beach.
where ugly old women rollerblade. If they were hot, maybe they'd have some tenants here in this hotel. So, and then the beach. So I'm there by the Iki Woo Woos, hiking my jock strap up like front wedgie, so the strap is right under my man tits, and my shorts
Shorts are still on,
shorts are hung low,
hung low.
and just goofing off. And there's a guy out there. He's racing a dune buggy, like a remote-controlled dune buggy.
RC unit.
Hauling ass. And I go, that's going to hit a kid. There's going to be problems. We're having a lot of fun watching him. Finally, cops show up. And they're walking over. And I go, ooh, that guy's going to get in some trouble. Well, no. They were coming for me. Because someone who is tired of our antics at the Iki Woo Woo's Tiki Bar called the police and said I was exposing myself on the boardwalk with children present. So these guys walk up, thumbs in the belt. Hey, need to talk to you, buddy. And I'm shit-faced, but I know I haven't done anything.
You thought you were a witness.
Well, I thought maybe like if I brought my drink onto the actual boardwalk, then it was a drinking infraction.
Or when they walked up to the RC thing, it was really funny because it was like, haha, check this guy, he's going to get busted. And then they walked right by him and kept like beelining towards us. It was like, oh shit, because we had calmed down a little bit. The sun had gone down.
Right.
Game was over. We're just hanging out.
We was you, Doug, and Brendan,
and
Bingo.
and Bingo.
Yeah.
And it was a laugh a minute type of thing for a while, and then we were kind of cooled down.
Evidently, we annoyed someone enough to say that I was
exposing yourself
in front of children. So the cops, that's all they know, and like anyone else, we're gonna get this guy, and.
Did they have that malevolent intent in them, or were they?
You could tell they were planning on taking me to jail no matter what, and I'm obviously drunk, but I'm staying here. I was I'm a drunk patron of.
And you're still
I'm
on
drunk
the property.
at my house for Christ's sake.
You were on the property of the hotel the whole time, so
go on.
So they say we got reports that you're exposing yourself. And there's children in the area, and I don't know, is they doing? And then I'm drunkenly trying to explain front wedgie, and
they pulled Doug away from us to go. We need to speak to you over here. So now we're looking at each other, going, "Well, what the fuck is this?" And Doug is trying to explain his way out of something at the same time, not really understanding what he's being accused of right off the bat, and drunk. Trying to explain wedgie.
Very drunk.
Wedgie. And come on, man, this is just in good fun.
So how long did it take you, Doug, to understand this was serious?
Well, I understood it was serious. As soon as a cop talks to me, I collapse around authority figures. So but I knew I didn't do anything. But then when he mentioned children around, I'm like, oh, this is the classic, divorce settlements. I don't know how many times I've heard a friend or a story from a friend about a friend that's going through a divorce, and all of a sudden he's being accused of touching a kid.
Yeah,
like it's a classic. Once you put kid in it, oh, you're fucked.
Oh,
and I'm like, no, I didn't do that.
Well
and the
played.
only thing that saved me was Chaille was taking pictures of the whole thing, as Chaille always does. So Chaille,
digital camera.
Yeah. Says, tell your part.
Doug motioned over to where we were standing, and then the cop came over, and he goes, is that your camera? And I had it in my hand. I go, yeah. And he goes, can I see it? And I said, no. And he goes, well, I understand there might be some pictures on there that could kind of explain what was going on here. And I'm thinking, man, what? I could just give him this camera and let him look through there. But there was a problem.
There were pictures on the camera from the nights before that we didn't want to show to the police that involved Brendan Walsh.
Oh.
This was in Orlando. We were at a kind of a lower-end establishment hotel. And we were real bored after the gig and really drunk. And besides playing...
I don't think we were necessarily bored. When you're that drunk, you're not really bored.
Well,
point being...
We weren't bored ever for very long. Not with Walsh back then. And he ended up standing in the middle of the bed with the comforter and all the bedding thrown off and pissing.
He was pissing his own bed on purpose.
Standing up.
Pissing. So Chaille has all these pictures of Brendan Walsh pissing all over his own hotel bed. So Chaille has to get into a negotiation with the cops that want to see the pictures of me that will clear me, but he won't turn over the camera that would incriminate her friend.
Or just show some grown man pissing on a
Pissing
bed.
on a bed. Any bed.
He's the best tour manager in the world.
So I said, listen, I would love to show you these pictures, but I'll tell you what, I'm holding the camera the whole time, and I will go back until we are done. And that's it.
Okay.
And we went back, and never knowing exactly.
They agreed on that. Like it was a business negotiation.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have to give him anything.
I will hold the camera, and I'll push the buttons.
But I gotta be honest. I was a little nervous that maybe I miscounted how many photos I had taken. And I went back and I was hoping for maybe a sunset to break up the two incidents, but not really knowing if there was anything like that. So,
And so they saw and they were convinced immediately?
100% convinced that this was bullshit. We were fucking around on the beach, and there was nothing in those photos. In fact, it actually explained the wedgie up above the shorts quite well.
Yeah.
In fact,
So did the cops do the whole...
You know how I can do this and disgust you? Bloat out. I can bloat out my belly so
Yeah.
badly.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I was doing. So
he's got a talent for figuring out that grossest thing he can do
Yeah.
with the crowd standing around. And with the jockstrap, it just elevates.
it
the hilarity.
accentuated
Absolutely.
the bloat belly.
So did the
and I've been able to do that since I was a kid, by the way.
Well done.
Did the cops find the perpetrator of the call, the guy that phoned it in?
No. I always, every time I've told this story, I go, some cunt. And I don't know why. I just assume it's a woman.
That was the one thing that I was pissed off after the cop had left, and it was like, Jesus, this is bullshit. It's like, wait a minute, someone called in a false report. Shouldn't that be the concern of the cops?
That should be.
Someone lied to the police and wasted their time coming down here.
If it were not for Greg Chaille taking those pictures, I very well could be a registered sex offender
Absolutely.
in Florida.
Yep.
And I think of all this bullshit. Anytime you go, that's why I always give someone some benefit of the doubt, as vilified as they are in a major media story. Well, you know what? It might have just been some bullshit like, oh, there's a sex offender moving into your neighborhood. You know what? It might have been a drunk guy doing front wedgies for funny, and someone was an asshole. Because a lot of people get busted for bullshit.
When we kind of look back on it, Brendan and you and I, there was one person that whole afternoon that was not like engaged in either watching football, having a cocktail, or the wedging funness that we were having. And that was that one older lady that was sitting doing work at a table with a beautiful sunset and everything, and she's pecking away at a laptop.
Yeah, crunching some spreadsheet.
Guess who called the cops?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I remember other than that was winding up in a hot tub with some black girls and well, yeah, all of us. And I don't remember how that went, but I know Brendan Walsh was very funny. That's all I remember.
There was something about poo, I remember.
I thought there was a poop-related
there was
thing.
Something, which now I'm glad I forgot.
Anyway, we'll get to Brian Hennigan. We're our plan is to do a pre-show, post-show podcast, just like others I think we've done, and maybe aired or maybe didn't. But yeah, right now we're late afternoon cocktailing at 2:45, and we're gonna hit the Tiki Bar and come back and do part of this shit face. But let's set up some more Hennigan stories, because Hennigan is a fascinating being. He's kind of legendary, kind of known as a cock, but so is Chaille, if you have to deal with him for business. That's why I have you.
Yeah.
I just go, don't pay me. It's okay.
I don't.
Oh, did you take a bad beat? You didn't get the liquor sales you wanted? It's all right. Just take it out of my check. So Hennigan brought me to Edinburgh back when he used to run a venue there. And I think he was the only honest dealer at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, where you actually got paid and you knew how much coming in. And
wait,
I think those days have gone now. I think I hear that that venue I used to run, which was the Tron in the centre of Edinburgh, is just the same as everywhere else now. As soon as I left, the parasites.
Oh yeah,
moved
yeah.
in.
Hey,
the one legitimate venue over there. Wow.
Well, it wasn't the venue. It was the guy running the venue.
Sure.
Yeah, a stage doesn't pay you or decide the percentage.
Yeah, I don't really know how that works. I just know that no one seems to make money when they go over there. In
Go
fact,
ahead, Brian. You start.
No, I'm just saying that it was I ran the venue, and all I did was bring to it the knowledge I'd built up in terms of business from my previous very normal, very corporate marketing jobs.
You don't have a normal. If we go back, no, you started. You went to college in Japan.
No, I went to college in Scotland. I went to university in Scotland, And then I went to...
See how he slipped into American there when he said college? And he
Well,
back
he's
it up.
copying me.
Yeah.
No, but I had to do that because it means two
I
different
understand.
things. But then I taught English in Japan, I taught English in China, and then I did a master's in Japanese. And then all of which teed me up marvelously for being your manager. And you have no idea the number of times I've had to slip into Japanese. And
That's one thing he's reticent to do. Occasionally, he's fluent in Japanese, so occasionally we can get him to show off when we go to sushi
bar.
Because you want him to do that.
Well, you want to talk
The
to the
last
dishwasher
thing
or
they
something?
expect is to him to break out in a fluent Japanese, and it's funny.
that's where I always feel cheated if I go to a sushi bar and they're not actually Japanese as a form of, I don't know what you call it. It's a form of legitimate racism because it's like, no, you're Filipino or you're Chinese or something.
Nicaraguan are the best.
We were there when he tried to bust into Japanese at a sushi bar, and they weren't Japanese.
No one knew
and they
what he was-
just stared at him.
I know, and
But he didn't even know.
Yeah.
The cook is like pressing a button under the counter. Hurry up, we need someone for you. Get the dishwasher up front, quick.
They all know the first words, like, irashaimase or, arigato or something. But then as soon as you sort of launch a sentence at them, it's quite clear that they're, from Mexico.
What do they yell right when you walk through the door?
Irashaimase.
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 Yeah. And you're right about that, the Nicaraguans. I have a friend of mine who was...
I didn't mention Nicaraguans.
No, you just said Mexico, but it's South America.
Okay.
Is where a
Central
lot...
America.
Central America.
Okay, keep going.
You did go to college university.
I read Smart Fuck magazine. Keep going.
A buddy of mine, he was a drummer in my band. He actually has a couple of sushi bars in Southern California now.
Get ready.
And he said that he always opens a restaurant with a Japanese guy that is like, they're rock stars. They'll move from place to place, and you're never going to keep
They're
them long.
DJs. They're the DJs
Exactly.
of Japan.
Yeah.
So
They cut fish.
Yeah.
the sushi chef will come in, open your bar, and within months, someone has wooed him away with more money somewhere else. And he goes, now I just hired Nicaraguans straight up.
Uh-huh.
Just they're the ones coming in and they're doing the rolls and they learn real quick, and they are everyone. There's not a Japanese person in his two sushi bars.
Well, getting a Japanese person is tough because they know their worth in the marketplace.
You can't call them Japs, but you can call Nicaraguans Nicos. I'm trying to develop Central American racist lingo, like Guats and Hondos and Nicos, because they're not yet established enough.
But the numbers are increasing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We need
so
to catch
we
up.
want to be ground floor on making the racial epithet
How
for
about
people.
good-looking people from Belize? Bellissimos.
Oh, very good.
Wow, that was on the fly.
You're throwing in
Yeah.
you're throwing in a little twist on that. That's nice.
Oh, I like that.
So, and by the way, Brian is also, as I talk about in my act, he was the former international marketing person for Macallan's Whiskey.
That's right.
So if I make reference to that in my act, when I talk about Pop-Up Vodka, my sponsor.
Boo.
Anti-sponsor.
Boo.
Yeah, so you had a storied history before you...
Sure, but the point is that I brought all of that nonsense to running stuff at the Edinburgh Festival, and having a normal, what I would describe, you might quibble, but having a normal marketing background is pretty, how can I put it, powerful in the so-called entertainment industry in terms of the skills you arrive with.
Yeah, because everyone else is in it for ego. So they know scams and they know how to get over on you, but just basic business acumen is not really something anyone...
I've often said to comedians or artists of any type, if you want a manager, find somebody who's enthusiastic about the arts, but who's very well accomplished in selling and marketing fish fingers. Because if they can market fish fingers, they can market fucking anything.
Right.
And, don't be wowed by their tales of artists they've developed. Find somebody who's taken a product that's difficult to sell in a competitive marketplace. Hire that guy.
Well, for what a lot of listeners might not know is agents in Hollywood are renowned for signing everyone. I won't mention Jamie Masada.
Don't.
No, don't mention him.
Yeah, there's just I mean, like almost every manager I had a million clients, and most of the shit that I did on my own, and they took credit for. Bud Friedman to this day will say, "I discovered this guy. I was fucking funny before you ever came around, and you were like, your whole product was, a dead waste. Evening at the Improv. Yeah, that was kind of long dead and gone.
He invented brick walls, didn't he?
For a minute, yeah. It was just like everything else in comedy. It has a shelf life. But I always hated the fact that other people would take credit for all their clients. Well, you're not mentioning all the clients you have that are fucking starving and bussing tables down at Swingers on Melrose.
Which is a fine establishment. I still go there.
They turned me on to green Tabasco. As much as I have a beef on Twitter with Tabasco sauce is awful. If you have a restaurant and you only have Tabasco sauce, have a sign that says we don't have hot sauce because it's fucking garbage. It's awful.
But you're right. Green Tabasco
is pretty
very
good.
nice.
Delicious. Why is it different? I know the taste is different,
It's
but I've never
jalapeno.
read the back. Is it jalapeno?
Yeah.
Rather than
Vinegar? I don't know what. It's green.
we're talking about McElhaney, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Brian.
Mm.
Can we talk condiments later then? We'll
Yeah.
get Rob Dukes on
Yeah.
Skype.
Well,
Is this when does the pre end and when does the pro start?
yeah, we're at 30 minutes, but
All right, okay.
I want to get one of your good stories out of you. Do we go
Oh,
China?
No.
Japan?
I don't feel like in the mood
You
for-
have the fucking story.
I know.
don't even remember about being lost at sea.
Oh, that was Philippines.
Is that another podcast?
Yeah, like Brian's got stories.
Yeah.
Well, should we have a couple cocktails and talk about the
that's-
stories we should talk about?
We could do that.
Let's do that. Pitch it to
Let's get the Philippine story about being lost at sea because
Well,
we're at
no.
the beach. Sure.
Okay. So the Philippines.
All right.
So a friend of mine.
Hold on. Wait. Where was this in relation to you finishing college, university?
Well, this was
and-
this was I'd resigned from being a marketing person because my first novel had been
From
published.
McAllen's?
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, we forget he also has published books, and yeah, we could do a lot of stuff
So,
with Hennigan.
thank you very
so
much.
We'll just do a few.
So I was basically in this in that period of treading water, like when you're trying to find out how you're going to make money in the artsy fartsy world.
Yeah, like me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You realize you it's the world you belong in, but you're still like, holy shit, I used to make so much money.
Oh no, that's not like me.
All right.
Sorry, I thought we were alike. That's not like me.
Okay, so what happened was a friend of mine, Anthony Brown, who used to be the personal assistant to Boris Johnson, the mayor of London, and is an economics correspondent for the BBC. He's a high-flying fucker over in the UK. Anyway, he'd toured the Philippines and said, "Oh, I found this great little village, which if you ever get a chance to go there, it'd be a great place to go and write." And I got this commission from BBC to write a play. And I worked out it was like £2,500, and I thought I could go to the Philippines and finish my novel with that. So Anthony didn't. I phoned him up and said, "What is that place called?" And he said, "It's called Port Barton on Palawan in the Philippines." And this was kind of at the this is literally the millennium, like building up to the turn of 2000. And I'd never, and so the internet wasn't as omnipotent as it is now.
99, yeah.
But I literally all I did was I just immediately booked to go there on air, fucking Filipino. How did I get there? I forget. Anyway, and then discovered everything as I went along.
You were trying to drop a sponsor, weren't you?
What?
Anyway.
No, I wasn't.
That's
No.
cool. That's cool. You
No.
got a revenue stream.
Anyway, so here's the thing. So on the way there, this is one of the little things that happened to me, is that I had to overnight in Manila, and that's when I allowed myself to get picked up at the airport by, you come out of Manila airport, and there are just people everywhere trying to get you to take their cabs.
Yeah, like Costa Rica would be a microcosm.
Exactly.
There's
it's
a
like
million.
So it's like 11:30 at night. It's completely black, and the good thing is if you've built up muscles, you get to understand just instinctively who's the right person to go with. Because I got in this cab and it took me down these back alleys, and I thought I'm going to get fucking knifed. But as it turned out, I was right. I mean, it took me to this hotel, but they took me to a hotel that was basically a hotel of prostitutes because they've just presumed I was wanting to go there because I was a single European male arriving in the middle of the night.
They also had a sense about who they were picking up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they've built up some muscles themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, the point is this. The hotel was filled with nothing but aged men and younger Filipino women. I just wanted to go to bed so I could get up and go to my flight the next morning.
Because, as soon as you show that uncut fucking sausage, they're going to scream and run out and you're going to be arrested.
They're professionals.
I think that I saw that on Locked Up Abroad was the uncut guy going to a whorehouse and like, don't demean our women like this. Anyway.
So round about 2:30 in the morning, I'm woken up and it's the headboard of the bed next to my bedroom is going against my wall. And I'm like, what?
Whappida.
It's like, Jesus, they're going for it. What the hell? And then I realize it's my headboard and that I'm not doing anything. And it's a 6.8 earthquake. Oh. I get out of bed and I'm literally being thrown from one side of the room to the other while I'm standing up. And just I remember screaming, "Stop!" Like that would help.
Wait, are you still thinking people are fucking?
No, I remember just thinking, "Stop!"
So you're yelling to God?
I'm yelling to something. Stop! I didn't have my spectacles on. I'm very short-sighted.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
So if you would have had your spectacles on, you could have looked out the window and seen someone like a ruffian pulling up one corner of the hotel and shaking it.
The point is
No, he thinks he's bigger than God.
Yeah.
Knock it off, Christ.
when you have spectacles on, everything's better. Unless, very few.
All right, so there's a goddamn earthquake.
Yeah, so then, anyway, I'm just saying it was a 6.8 and it was kind of interesting.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So the next day I fly down to Palawan and it was like, have you ever seen, you wouldn't have seen a film.
This podcast should be called Good Money After Bad. So now, after the earthquake, I get on a...
So I fly down, anyway, Palawan is this long, thin island. I think it's like 40 miles long and 3 miles wide.
Oh, wow.
And it's famous, or not famous, but...
Right now, someone's going to Wikipedia it and email some kind of correction.
Actually, it's 255. Anyway, the point is, one of the things about it is the last place... I found all this afterwards. Like, I didn't know this when I was going.
That doesn't seem like you.
Because I was very in the moment. And I discovered it's the last place in the world where an undiscovered tribe was found. And so the southern half of Palawan, the UN is like...
You're not supposed to go there. I just saw a thing where they won't let
cannibals.
people go and fuck it up.
Are they cannibals and shit?
I don't know what they do.
Or they don't want anyone to go down there to introduce any kind of
I
Western
just watched
culture.
a documentary about how they had to sneak in to try to find this place. Yeah.
So anyway, so I landed at fucking... what's it called? Puerto Cristo airport on Palawan, and then I had to make my way, this is a cut a long story very short, over 2 days to this Port Barton Anthony fucking Brown recommended to me. And it was at the tail end of the rainy season. It was like a film called Wages of Fear, okay? Where you're in this like open truck that's going through the jungle for 2 days. It's a monsoon outside. We had to stop twice, I think, not to change the tire, but to change the axle. At one point, I was looking over the edge of the truck. We're all going over a precipice. The wheel on my side wasn't touching the road anymore.
It was hovering over
and it's like
edge.
Yeah, and all the Filipinos around me, for them, this is normal. This is what third world life is like. And I'm going, I'd gone beyond being worried at that point. And towards the end of the journey, I remember once there was some other awful thing happened. I just thought, oh, let's just die. This will be so much easier if we just die now. And the third world, at the start of the journey, they hauled and put on top of the truck enormous, like coffin-sized, somewhat ironically, slabs of ice, which they are transporting through the jungle heat to the village. Yeah. And
so when he gets there, he can have a nice cocktail.
That's right, basically.
Cubes.
Yeah. And so anyway,
it's like if you had to be in the pig slaughtering plant on your way to go get a nice pork chop at the upscale steakhouse.
Yeah. So they're in a hurry not because the humans are precious cargo and have to get through this monsoon, but so that they get enough of the ice to make it worth the trip.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, one of those amazing laws of physics, when you have ice of that scale, it doesn't melt that much compared to if you have a cube.
Sure.
So it keeps a long way. Anyway, we arrived there, in the middle of the night.
Did that make you feel better?
No.
Looking up there and
No.
seeing that they're transporting open ice?
No, it was worse because
Above your heads?
Because the
If that gets down to shards, I know I'm doomed.
the problem was that it was what it made it worse because they had blocks and blocks upon blocks of it. So the height of the vehicle now, it was so unstable. Anyway,
That's how they tell when the gas is low. When the ice melts. Because
their gas gauge.
The gauge is broken.
Go ahead.
So we arrived in Port Barton, which turned out to be a very pleasant place. I saw a setup and I was doing my writing, and then this chap arrived who was Patrick Pryal. You can find the fucker. Patrick Pryal. And he had
P-R-Y-L-E?
Pryal. He was a construction manager who basically he's a British construction manager, and the Southeast Asia is full of people like this who...
I'm going to guess already he's just like that British cunt that booked us in Sweden and we never got paid.
No. This Patrick Pryor was okay apart from one or two things.
Oh, the fact that you spelled his name with...
Twice.
Yeah, with hatred in your voice, I assumed. Go ahead, Patrick Pryor.
And so he had this Filipino girlfriend in tow, and I believe she may well have been for hire. I don't know. But the point is that Patrick and I kind of got on, but he was somewhat annoyed to discover that at that point I was going through a teetotal part of my development.
Oh, yeah, no, we've been there with you in Costa Rica where we had to do an intervention on his not drinking because it was ruining everyone else's vacation, that he was out jogging and eating right every day. And we actually did sit down around a fireplace at night and read all the reasons why his not drinking was affecting our vacation, and at the end he was chugging Jägermeister. So it works both ways. Go ahead, we know.
So Patrick was always, it was like, so he continually complaining that he found himself in the turn of the millennium on this tropical island with the only Scotsman that didn't drink. And so one day he said, we've been talking, there are like these like fishermen's canoes just lying around. I mean, we're talking like the old school, like
dug out from one
dug
tree.
Dug out from one tree. Filipino fishermen canoes. And he said we should just go around the bay here to the other side because apparently it's quite a nice little paddle. So one day we did that, and it was much tougher than we had anticipated.
In one of those canoes.
One of those canoes.
Oh,
So we got the canoe and we're going around. We managed to get round the what do you call it? The head.
The peninsula?
Peninsula. What do you call the point of the peninsula? Anyway,
the point of the peninsula is what we call it.
Anyway, the point of the peninsula.
The Cape of Good Hope? Is that where you went?
Yeah. Anyway, so we managed to get around there, but there's a bit of huffing and puffing involved, and we thought, oh, that was kind of tough. But we arrived in this immaculate Filipino village, which all the Filipinos had gone out fishing. It was empty. There was nobody there. There was a small, rudimentary bamboo Catholic church, which looked like it had been built in the 16th century when they colonized the place. Mm-hmm. No, we didn't set fire to it. For all fucking Doug's fuckhead fans, who set fire to it? yeah.
That Sam Adams is kicking into the teetotaler.
Yeah, so, but we did feel empowered by having reached there, and there was an island some way off. And we thought, oh, now we've done that, we shall now conquer the channel.
You're still in a canoe.
Yeah, in the canoe. So off we set in the canoe, and we got to about midway across the channel, and that's then things went bad. Yeah. Because we realised we were not getting closer to that island, and we also realised we were not going to be able to get closer to where we just come from.
You're getting swept out to sea.
We're basically in the middle of nowhere, and this is the whole point. This is the South China Sea. This is where this is exactly where the story in Jaws that Robert Shaw tells
sharks,
about the USS Philadelphia going down. This is where
not the Philadelphia. That's the one with the crazy.
Are you sure it's not the Philadelphia?
It's the captain from the boat
where they ate all the sharks ate like 32 guys or some shit.
Not
no,
32.
The Philadelphia.
The boat went down, but they were on a secret mission because they just dropped off the bomb.
I'm sure it's the Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia is the one that's supposed to get disappeared.
That's the Kirk Douglas film.
All right.
Anyway,
Doesn't
boat
matter.
went down.
They'll Wikipedia.
All the guys went in the water, and the guys would rotate from being out from the front, or
Yes.
out on the edge, to the inside on a time basis. But the sharks would come and just pick guys off. In the end.
Not only do we have that story, the previous night we'd been out with these Australian pearl divers, and they were explaining how they did their job.
Is that a male stripper group?
No.
Oh, that's down under.
What they do is the pearl divers, they would go how you harvest or farm pearls is that you have to go down every week or so and turn the shells so the water is going over them a different direction, and that way you get a perfectly spherical pearl.
See, that's cheating. That's what I've always said about pearl diving. That is the steroids of pearl diving. You're manipulating this. It's not like the true days
That's
of
why
pearl
some
diving.
pearls are sold with an asterisk next to them. So they'd explained that what happens is this: the waters are infested with these tiger sharks, which is the Robert Shaw story.
By the way, tiger sharks, one of the meanest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So they had a routine, which was that the guy would go down to turn the shells on the end of a bit of rope. What happens with the shark?
And if a tiger shark showed up, they'd throw a Filipino in the water with a couple of fresh gashes from a razor blade on his.
What they do is tiger sharks, or I don't know if it's true of all sharks, but tiger sharks don't attack immediately. What you'd be doing is that you'd be turning the pearl or whatever it is you're doing, and something would
Thump you.
bump
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
thump you with its nose, and that's a tiger shark going, oh, let's see what happens when I do this, testing you. When that happens, you pull the rope, it rings a bell. The people on the ship throw chum in the water and then wait for the tiger shark to come up, and they shoot it. And while somebody else
Everyone has a system.
while somebody else yanks you out the fucking water,
Up
right?
through the chum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the earthquake didn't queer you. The chum and the tiger shark story didn't queer you. Now you're paddling for fucking the Blue Lagoon.
So the point is this: we'd heard this story. This is the night before. So we have the things aren't going well, and I have time to say to Patrick, look out for that wave, and then we're under.
Oh, wow.
Like literally, the wave hits and we're under. And once a canoe's got water in it and it's underwater, it's floating, but you can't get the fucking water out.
Your canoe, if I'm thinking of the same one, is only about 6 inches above the water line.
Correct.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
You're gonna get swamped real
So
easy.
I have the only thing I ever learned in the fucking period when I was trying to learn yachting was stay with the boat. So I just kept shouting, "Stay with the boat! Stay with the boat!" And then I saw one of the oars floating away, so I quickly swam.
You left the boat.
I swam to get that, and then I brought it back to the boat. Anyway, the funny point was this, though, in the story, is that at some point in me getting the oar and coming back to the boat, I kicked Patrick in the back. So he thinks it's a tiger shark, and
With the bump.
he almost fucking ran to the island. Like he came
On
out,
water.
He came out the water like woo, and I said, "No, it's okay, it's me." Anyway, but we're in the same position we were in 5 minutes before, but now it's worse because we're now
Thinking about tiger sharks.
We're thinking about tiger sharks. Our legs are like anytime you think of sharks, you just think of the view from
This
below.
is why he hates dangly jewelry, which is another story. But anyway.
Good point.
So we're just floating and drifting down current in the.
But you're not getting in the boat.
We
You
can't.
You can't. It's
so
swamped.
So then we have to decide. Okay, well let's just try and paddle for that fucking island. So we're holding on, and it's got one of those little outrigger bits.
Oh, like a side hack on a motorcycle.
yeah.
It's got, to stabilize.
Yeah, so we're like paddling towards it, and every now and then we'll
By
pick up.
paddling, you mean kicking your feet?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Attracting sharks.
yeah, so every now and then we'd pick up an oar and shout, "Help!" And obviously there's no fucking Coast Guard in that area. So
Usually not on an uninhabited island.
yeah,
There's usually not a Coast Guard station.
Eventually though, it must have taken maybe 45 minutes, which is a fucking long time to be fucking
Kicking.
bait in the South
Yeah.
China Sea.
They found an iceberg and went, this is worth money.
So there's this one of these rudimentary little sort of skank. There's a word for like boats that have got a motor in the back of them.
Skiff.
A skiff.
Yeah.
I got it first.
Good job.
Don't blow myself.
Yeah, he's the New England. That's New England influence right there.
It's a small little rowboat.
It comes out towards us, and it's this like 13-year-old Filipino kid dressed in rags,
Sure.
like some classic island urchin, and he's just looking down at us as if to say, "What the fuck are you doing?" Really, like he couldn't understand what the fuck we were trying to do. And we just immediately, in effect, like he didn't even have time to say, "I'll give you a tow." We were like clambering all over his boat,
Tipping him over.
yeah. And he took us to his island, which was even less well developed than the third world cesspit we were staying in. They had nothing.
They had land.
They had land. You're right. They had land. They didn't have fucking sharks, and we still had some money that was wet, Filipino money, and but it was enough to basically buy out the entire grocery store that, so to speak, existed, which was basically some other guy's hut, which had, stuff in it, and we sort of threw them a big party.
It was the vending machine from the Hojos in Syracuse where we got bed bugs, only less well stocked.
And then we gave them the rest of the money, and then they took us back home at sunset.
So the Filipino Oliver Twist who saved your life, did you throw him a couple bucks?
We gave him everything we had.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. We were literally turning out. We couldn't get a bit. At one point, you do think, hang on, we're actually altering the economy of this island by what we're paying them. But then
everybody gets a raise.
They're giving them all their cash, and they're going, I don't know. We don't need paper.
We should
we wipe our ass with leaves. What is this?
We should open a bank.
Currency?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
You have a turtle?
So that was the shark story.
It's interesting. I just got to say, I found out when I was I used to dive a lot back when I was playing in the band. We did a lot of stuff out in Guam. And,
You're not talking crowd diving either.
Huh? No. Underwater diving. I never realized how dangerous it is between a big land mass and a smaller island off of there. The water, it's like a funnel.
Yeah.
And that current goes through there. It will sweep you out to sea, much like your
we were watching land go past.
You're lucky you didn't end up just out in a huge body of water where that funnel slows down when it lets out. That was.
It's funny that
you're lucky because you'd never have me as a client.
Yeah, that could have skewed my career.
All right, do we go to the bar or do you want to keep making mayhem?
No,
what are we at?
I want to
48.
That's a podcast.
Yeah,
let's go to the bar.
It's a podcast according to what. We're going to the. Yeah, we are.
No,
what do we eat? I'm guessing 48.
55.
Perfect.
All right. That's part one. Maybe the part two is next, or maybe it's next week. I don't know.
We're weekly, baby.
Let's go listen to some Jimmy Buffett covers.
3 weeks in a row. We've been weekly.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it rolling.
And we're also sponsored by. Pause. We'll throw that in later.
Throw it in now, or it's not going in.
All right, fuck it. We're sponsored by that guy. What's on your T-shirt? Sriracha Hot Sauce is our sponsor this week. A guy walked by and he has a Sriracha shirt on, and we already mentioned how much I fucking hate Tabasco sauce, and any restaurant that only has Tabasco has no hot sauce. Get Sriracha, motherfucker, or just close your doors. We'll be back after this. This podcast is sponsored by the Thunderbird Resort and Hotel in Treasure Island, which is part of St. Petersburg, Florida, I believe. And you'll never come here, so I won't be bothered by you because you don't really want to meet me. All right, busted microphone. Does it work? Please hold.
No,
Please
that's
hold.
a new. I gave you another one.
All right.
Telefunken. We're gonna.
Telefunken.
They might be a sponsor. They might not be, depending on their customer service.
All right, Telefunken. We're back with the rest of the. What do we have a name for this podcast?
The Thunderbird. Did I say Thunderbird?
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird Motel Resort.
All right, so we thought we weren't drunk
microphone.
enough earlier to
Am I
close this up, but we
Yeah,
still have
Your
time
headphones.
for.
You need your headphones.
He has no headphones.
He brought his own. Where are your headphones?
Must be back in the room.
All right.
Brian went and took a nap, refreshed. We went and had beach drinks.
You said you were taking a nap.
I didn't say I was taking.
That
You
was
said
that,
you're
that,
taking.
that
a
was
nap.
the deal.
You left us at the Icky Woo Woo's Tiki Bar and said you were going to take a nap.
Who's that?
That's a very important call for Greg Chaille.
That's not no. Sorry.
This
This is way more important.
Well, so we went to the other place, and Bingo started crying about the stuff that we occasionally cry about, which the rule is don't cry till the next podcast.
See Cliffhanger Podcast.
Cliffhanger 2. Yeah, so, and then, I don't know, someone got drunker than someone else, and Bingo got dressed up. And
she looked fantastic.
Yeah, so I got cunty, and I came back here and shaved off all my body hair as I do once a year. I didn't get the whole stuff. But, yeah, I took off, I shaved off most of my upper body hair and some of the lower parts, and I got bored with trying, and I couldn't focus.
Is that a drunk thing?
Well, it's a thing I always want to do, and then if I get drunk and I'm in a hotel where I can, leave all my body hair on their floor, I do that.
You've said that was like an ecstasy thing before. I've heard you say that.
Yeah, it's mostly because I fucking despise body hair.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a giant lesbian.
You own a lot
I don't
of
know.
body hair.
Yeah, it grotesques me.
So
you took this as a provocation.
Well, I shaved off most of my body hair in this extra room I rented just to podcast in case we needed it, because we have so much shit that when we loaded into the room. Anyway, so yeah, I left all the body hair all over the bathroom because...
And I came round and I went into the...
No, way before that.
No, then Bingo went in.
No. You told me that you went back to the room and took a bath, but I thought you went to the other room, the room we had originally with shit spread out all over the place.
Keep going.
So I come to this room and I'm like, I got that like time clock going. I'm like, here we go. I'm coming up to the door. I'm 15 steps from the toilet. Good, because I gotta drop a deuce.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That means a poop.
Yeah, keep going.
I get in, and I'm at 14 and a half steps, and I look down, and Doug did not shave his body hair.
I shaved my body hair all over the goddamn bathroom. I try to get most of it in the toilet, and
No. You tried to get an amount of it outside of the rim and onto the floor. There's no way you can tell me you tried to get all of it in the toilet.
No,
sure, but I can understand that. I don't understand the denouement of this.
The point is, I didn't try to flush it or keep it.
So there's body hair everywhere,
everywhere, in and out of the toilet,
Right.
just piles of body hair,
as if you've trimmed a dog or something.
But Chaille,
trimmed a gorilla.
This is not Chaille's general sense of humor. In fact, he's against it. But Chaille,
Go on, Chaille. So you saw this.
Well, I saw that, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you were talking about your room, at which now you were asleep, or you went back to with Bingo, and yet I walk into the room that I assumed was mine because no one's in it, and there's body hair just thrown about like there was a fight with a pillowcase full of body hair in there. I'm thinking, well, then whose room is this?
Right.
He's now polluted.
Right.
He's polluted
Good.
both rooms.
Yeah, whose room is this? So what did you do?
Chaille took a shit on not even the seat. The seat is up.
Oh, no.
It's the rim.
I've seen where it is. It's kind of not even on the rim. It's in the hinterland of the porcelain.
I backed into the up. I lifted the seat up because I'm a gentleman.
Yeah.
He put English on it and went wide right.
Yeah.
I dotted the I, brother, on that one. I crossed
But
the T.
I'm still trying to understand the
That's
logic
a triple
of...
stacker, by the way.
Yeah, but
There's no logic
I
to it
know.
because this is not his room. I went and bought this room to get the fuck out of that
what I
room.
like is the logic of he. Okay, let's imagine it's right, and this was his room. He sees this, like the sub body hair, and then just thinks, fine, I'll just put a big poop in the wrong place, right?
No. I have the keys to the van. The van is my room. You were sleeping.
We
in
don't
that
have a van.
We don't have a van. We've got a Chevy Malibu.
Shit,
we're on the road.
We're off tour.
Yeah, Hennigan picked us up.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't thought out completely.
This is like the My Lai massacre. It's like how it became necessary to destroy the village in order to save it. It's like there's no logic to this whatsoever. You saw a lot of hair and decided to poop in the wrong place.
Not the wrong place. He took a shit on the rim of the toilet on
Who
purpose.
were you teaching a lesson
Underneath
to?
the seat.
Who were you showing?
It's not like he
Actually-
missed taking a shit. He took a shit. You act like, in the wrong place. No, he...
That's the English way to like give me like well maybe
don't
perhaps
ever
we don't
call
know.
a Scottish
Oh, sorry.
person English.
Yeah, that's
call me English.
that's another shit on a toilet seat.
Yes.
Well, I'm not taking a shit. Just to
But it did disturb Bingo quite a bit.
Well, it did get we did
It's still there.
in between.
Yeah, I know. It's still there.
It's gonna stay there.
It's like it's quite an impressive shit. It's like lovely Guatemalan mole. It's like really impressive.
I don't know that that's a
It's
compliment.
Spencer Gift's looking shit. Like it's
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like if you made rubber shit, it would look like that.
Yeah.
Snap a mold off that baby. Let's do this. The highlight of this is that not only
The highlight is you think you one-upped because earlier in the podcast, the sober part one, which they will all go out together, by the way.
by the way, none of them are sober.
Yeah, Brendan Walsh was pissing all over a bed on this tour.
Yeah.
Well, you shit on the outside of the toilet.
Yes.
Just to be... I want to be known as someone.
Oh, is that why?
So now I'm going to have to pick up that shit with my hand and chase Brian Hennigan around with it for a Vine video.
Which is exactly why I did it, Doug.
Yeah.
Or do we go right back to Bingo and go, honey, I made you a sock puppet. Here's the old Dane Cook bit where he does the eeny, meeny, miny, mo with the paper mache thing.
If I can just tell you my motivation.
Yes, please.
We had Bingo out here, and Doug and I love to fuck with Bingo. And she's a little drunk and needs distractions, to be fair. And I was just thinking if we could get her to go in there and like... Hey,
Is this what we're going to look forward to anytime somebody says we need a distraction? You're going to take a big dump?
Chaille doesn't drink on the road much at all anymore.
Or
the
much.
The
or
first
much at all.
tour, he kept up with us, and then he realized I
have to drive in the morning.
He has to do shit. So I think Chaille's motivation was, hey, I get to drink all day on a day off. We're not on the road. I'm going to shit all over everything in a room I think is mine, even though it's not.
You know what? I saw the Junior Stopka sign in the other room. I just assumed this was mine.
All right, that wraps up the podcast. Who are we sponsored by for the end of this?
Charmin.
Shanks.
Shanks.
Armitage Shanks.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh.
Poop wipes. They're classy. What are they called?
What is that called?
One Wipe Charlie's.
One Wipe Charlie.
Yeah, it's a way to wipe your ass. If you shit anywhere in creation because you think it's funny, and
if you're an animal who eats a lot of fiber,
yeah, and you make a perfect poop on the curl of the brim of a nice porcelain toilet seat here at the Thunderbird in Treasure Island, Florida. Yeah, wipe with One Wipe Charlie's. They're classy, and you can see a video online. Bill, you should really explain that the video is not how to wipe a man's asshole, because that's what it sounds like when you fucking pump One Wipe Charlie's. It's a one wipe fucking thing for men, and it's classy. Look at the video online. It sounds like you're promoting a tutorial video about how a man can wipe his ass with a handy wipe. I'm sure it's a funny video. Maybe put that in the copy.
this commercial turned into a personal message to Bill Burr.
Oh, listen, the only reason I do this shit is because Bill Burr makes me want to do a podcast, and I know I will never be that good at it. Mm-hmm. But Bill Burr will never have his friends shitting all over his toilets from funny.
Okay.
Anything you want to add in?
Wait a minute.
We have a few minutes before we can go get prime rib, and they only have medium left. No more medium rare.
We did trick Hennigan to go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Which still stinks like crazy.
I didn't really get as far as the stink. I saw the sort of trail of fur.
I'm going to pick that poop up like a softball and hurl it at you. I'm going to chase you down the street with it. Let's just close this up. We have what are we at? We have enough time.
This is a full one.
Yeah.
This is good.
We get home tomorrow, and then it's going to be awful, and then we'll be funny again in a couple weeks. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Bye. Yeah, bye. Play the Matoid.
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party time. Yeah. Party time.
Hi, me again. People ask me, Mike, when are you going to do video number 2? You want to talk about number 2? Great. Let's talk about number 2. Poop! Everyone makes it. And I don't have time to jump back in the shower after a messy number 6. I'm an executive now. I have papers to sign. Fortunately, there's a better way to wipe your messy bottom. They're called one-wipe Charlies, and they're butt wipes for men.
Butt wipes, Mike?
Yeah, bitch. Butt wipes.
What's a bitch?
Why do you need a butt wipe? Because you're not an animal. And whatever you're using now is primitive. You're leaving buried treasure behind! You want to get all the golden nuggets, don't you? I'm talking about poop, Alejandra.
I know, Mike. We all know.
Ha ha! Dig! Plus, toilet paper takes forever. You shouldn't have to be special forces to extract the bad guy with speed and precision. With one wipe, Charlie, you wipe once. And get on with your life. Flush her out to sea, boys! I know what you're thinking. Is all this fancy butt stuff gonna cost me an arm and a log? There's a bear in the woods? Not anymore. In the toilet, and he pays just a couple bucks for a 40-pack. So clean up your act with the softest, fastest, manliest way to wipe your ass. Except no substitute. It's one wipe, Charlie!